Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Great to have you here today. Owen from the Professional Builder on the Builders Lab podcast. I'm joined today by Coach Matt Bang. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, good, mate. Fantastic to be here.
Yeah. Good to have you on the line as well. So tell us, what do you love working with members on? And give us the 60-second bump into you in the street elevator pitch of what got you to the position that you're in today.
Yeah, my role's performance coach and head of boardroom for top builders in TBB that are operating their businesses at a higher level. But what got me into TBB was just the amount of value and just real raw value that TBB offers to members. And it's how can we give you the best resources, advice, templates, coaching, group sessions, camaraderie between the community with other builders that are like-minded that are trying to build a fantastic business. So that's what got me into it. And for the 450 members that we've got here now, they're all like-minded. They're all hungry to grow their business in a healthy, profitable way and at a professional level. So a lot of fun, very fast pace. And we get a lot of enjoyment out of what we do.
Well, and you're a huge part of that. You do a phenomenal job. The feedback that I get is always like, Matt's a legend. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, we get it. Matt's a legend. Like, come on. How about other people? But anyway, no, you're awesome. You're fantastic. I can't wait to have you over at the summit coming up in a few weeks' time in Auckland. Bunch of members coming into town, yourself and many of the other coaches as well. So it's going to be a heap of fun. But we're not here today to discuss that. We're here today to discuss Mr. Ben. So Ben's from Victoria, new home builder, does a few homes a year. And when he joined us, had my understanding was no sales process, kind of shooting from the hip a little bit. And it was impacting his deal flow, his confidence to close contracts. And his pipeline was a little bit on the weaker side, with lower margins as well. Like he's competing on price to get them over the line and stuff. Fast forward now, and he's kind of charging for quotes, got 25% margins. So tell us a little bit more about the story. What's he put in place, or paint us the picture? What have I missed?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, builders are great at building, and this sales process and understanding that you can actually take a client on a journey, that you're also a professional, you've got years of experience and knowledge to be able to pass on, like architects do and other professionals. And we're not charging for this knowledge and value that we're adding to clients as well. So to be able to educate clients and add value to them, to take them through that sales process, but actually map them out and genuinely take them through a journey so they understand what you're going to deliver in the final product, but also helping those clients to go, right, where's the risk and liability on maybe the current set of plans they've got. So we want to map that out. We want to use some tools as well to fact find and get information from the client, and then lay out a roadmap and a plan for what this could look like to be able to get to contract signing.
So good. So a lot of people kind of, I get it. Like you've been on tools or on site and you've made a bunch of sales through word of mouth and stuff. And often people come from word of mouth like, dude, I've seen your work. You were recommended by my sister. Like, I ain't going anywhere else. And then they kind of fall into that trap of believing that the sale is made exclusively by them and the person is buying them. When the reality is the person is trying to buy their dream home. And they just assume that dream home is produced by you because you haven't told or educated the prospect on your people, your processes, the products that you use and how you build them, and insurances and contracts and all the stuff that goes into an actual building project. So they just assume that you're the one that produces this great thing. I must buy from you, and you are it. And that's fine if you want to stay at a certain level. But if you want to kick on to another level where you have more time and you have a process that you can use, you need to build exactly that, a sales process that educates people on how you do it, on your team, on everything that goes into building a job. So really important that we dial that in. It sounds like that's what Ben has done here. So you said something interesting. Plans come and they're kind of like 60% complete. You can't really quote the other 40% if we don't know what's going to be in it. So how's he gone about kind of getting to a position where he can sell a client with half complete plans?
Totally. Yeah, it's a great question. that a lot of builders have, because typically, I mean, what we use is a professional service agreement, or it might be a early engagement with architects, to be early engagement for builders piece. But to be able to structure and map that out, and typically what we find, right, as builders, when they come to us, what's your sales process? Well, I get a phone call, I get a referral, it's word of mouth. I give them a call and say, yeah, I'll come by at 6 o'clock tonight. No planning, just straight there. Go and spend 3 hours with a client, peak hour traffic, and you walk away. There's no structure around it. And the client's going, oh, yeah, well, he asked the same questions as the last builder, or not as many. And there's no leadership and professionalism as a builder. So when you get those plans, and the thing is also the mindset of the client, they've gone and spent whatever, 20, 30, 50, 60,000, $100,000 on architectural plans. So they think they're done. Yep. What's wrong? Why can't you process? So when you get a set of plans and documents and you look at what's been sent through, you might assess that and it might be 60, 70% complete, because there's no engineering, there's no specifications, there's maybe the job's big enough that it needs an interior designer. So that hasn't been engaged yet. So there's so much missing information, which is what you typically form your RFI, or request for information, that you send back to an architect or client. All I want to do is actually close that gap. So like I said, if it's 60% complete, you've got 40% exposure, which is liability and risk onto the client. So if other builders are pricing those plans, they're pricing with 40% inaccuracy because there's so many unknowns. Yet the client doesn't know this. So we need to educate the client around this process, map that out and go, what's required to get to a 90, 95% clear data and to be able to provide an accurate tender or proposal to the client. And that forms your professional service agreement.
Yeah. And that's that bucket that we would often charge for. So, essentially, if you're at home listening to this, or thinking like, how does it apply to me? You basically want to think about how you can choreograph the site visit, or the initial engagements, to capture as much information of that 60% as possible, but identify the 40% that's missing, and then go, okay, we're currently got 60%. I could quote you 60% of the job, but that means we're going to be 40% out. Like, it's going to be a nightmare. For us to get the next 40% together, we need to do a professional service agreement, or a preliminary proposal, or a whatever you want to choose this thing to be called. This is kind of your prerequisite for building. We need to get from 60% to 95 at least, sort of thing. And for us to do that professional service, it's going to cost X, Y, or Z. In Ben's case, it costs $3,500, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Are you a business owner running a residential construction company? If so, save the date. On Thursday and Friday, May the 22nd and the 23rd, we're running our Builders Summit at the Park Hyatt in Auckland. It's the biggest business summit for building company owners in the country. Across 11 expert sessions, we'll show you exactly how to either tweak or overhaul and transform your business into a profitable, streamlined building company. You'll get access to breakthrough strategies that have already helped over 3,000 of our residential members grow their businesses. Plus, just by being in the room, you get over $2,500 in extra bonus resources that you can implement into your business. We've got 100 seats. Many of those are reserved for our members, but you might be able to claim one of the few remaining. What you need to do is go to www.builderssummit.co.nz or click the links below and we'll take you directly there.
Yeah, $3,500. So before it was charging for nothing. And if you do a calculation of how many hours do you spend estimating, pulling together other documentation, doing your RFIs, any builder would typically go bare minimum 20 hours, up to 40 to 60 hours. Once you go through that task, you do that at your, it doesn't matter what you're worth right now, but what a builder should be charging is anywhere between $120 to $200 an hour. You times that up, you've got thousands of dollars. And we had another member there in New South Wales as well, Sam, and we worked out he's doing around $10,000 per quote is what it was costing his company to be able to go that process. So once we did that light bulb moment, wow, I've got to stop doing that. Again, we went through the same process, map it out. And also that first client meeting, there's a high expectation. And we're talking about first impressions that last. So if you go in as a fact-finding, asking questions, and you're still trying to figure everything out, you're not going in as a leader or a professional and taking that client on a journey. You're going, hey, I love these plans. I can see where you're heading in the vision. It's fantastic, but there's a lot of risk and liability still on you because of the missing data. Here's the plan I propose. And you still might go in there, have to ask questions because you're doing a site visit or something like that to gather a bit more information, which you can use for your PSA as well. But going in there with a plan, mapping that out, explaining with the client using the tools and resources that we have here that our members build out on. They've already received a lookbook prior to that. They've received a questionnaire where that is your fact finding to get more information around the client, the project, and why they're doing what they want to do. And then going into that meeting using these tools of, hey, here's our specification list that would go through on our interior design package. Here's an example of our tender proposal. And you're not giving it to them, or here's a project schedule, a tender project schedule. You're taking examples and you're showing them using these documents to show that carry weight and value to the client. And they go, wow, I see the value in that. That's a lot of work going into that. That's a 76-page tender proposal that's really detailed and clearly explained. So you're sort of hanging the carrot there for the client going, that is fantastic. I want that. And that's why the value of 3,500, 5,000, whatever you want to charge, is justified.
Yep. You want to show, not tell. So you want to present these things, and sales becomes a lot easier when marketing does the heavy lifting. So showing a project schedule, even if it's of a similar or different project, shows that you have a method in your business to maintain, display, and improve a project schedule. And then the prospect or the client, future client, can go, okay, cool. My concern around having this project drag on and blow out on timeline is kind of addressed in a way, because I can see that the business that I'm engaging has a method or a process for maintaining project schedule. Like, then all you've done is just shown them a Gantt chart or a printout of a project management system, or it might even just be, here's my calendar, and here's where we do daily site visits, Monday toolbox meetings, end of week client emails, or whatever. You just need to demonstrate and show what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just telling, and you might as well just be turning up to site and going, yeah, no, don't worry about quality. Like, we're going to be fine. You can't just tell people nowadays. You got to show them the quality checklist, show them the timeline, show them the systems and methods that you use in your business to address those concerns. And then you're no longer comparing apples with apples.
Yeah.
So when I say, I charge for my quotes, and so does the guy down the road, and you're like, what the fuck? I charge for quotes. The other guy down the road is free. I'll just go with them.
Yep. 100%. And that's the difference. Like we say, you can't just go and start increasing margins because we say, hey, your margins are too low, they need to go up. No, there needs to be value behind it. And so a lot of the clients might go and do a lookbook, or, hey, this is a bit about us. Again, they need to level that up as well and revise it and make it better and better and more towards world class. But then they get to the proposal and they haven't done that yet. So they got a fantastic lookbook, and I had a member the other week, same thing, fantastic lookbook. Was great, on brand, price was around that sort of medium to high end. And I said, that is fantastic. Let's look at your tender proposal. And it was just rubbish. It was a printout from Builder Trend and, just like a tradies invoice. And I said, no, this is why. Like, you can't sell this premium product with this type of template. It doesn't add value. It doesn't carry any weight. So you've lost that level with the client. And so let's lift that up. Let's get it on brand. Let's have it spend time mapping that out. Becomes your agenda meeting as well when you deliver that. And it educates and adds value to the client. You give that to them, they go, wow, I understand why these guys charge so much more, because they've added so much value. They're so professional. They've got everything dialed in, and there's a clear process. I've had such a great experience and journey. And so now, like Ben, was charging under 20% gross margin, now 25%, $3,500 full to be able to estimate a job. He can now got the funds to spend $1,500 on an estimator or QS to do 80% of the groundwork, so he can finalize it, pull together, which means he can focus on other jobs and keep selling these agreements.
So good. I'm loving it. A lot of the marketing, a lot of these resources also help you to level up your mindset and know that you're worth 25%, because if you don't have a lot of the backing, like, systems is a safety net, right? So, as your business grows and scales and improves, and you get the wobbles, the systems are the guardrails that keep you standing upright. And it's the same sort of thing in the sales process. If you just go in tomorrow and you go, yes, 25% margin. I mean, you're not going to disclose your margins, but you get, 25, fucking it's pretty fucking expensive when you used to be charging, let's say, 15. But if you've got all this sort of stuff, you're like, yeah, fucking hell, like, I'm convincing myself here, like, holy moly, like, we're rock stars. Like, look at all this stuff. This is amazing, And it gives you that yourself that mindset to improve your margin, sort of thing. So I'm fully with you.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's just the confidence that you give clients too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ben's clients, both of them, two on the go, and both of them go, yeah, like the only thing was like making some tweaks. So tweaks in the process of actually having that professional service agreement signed, ready, fixed price, done for that meeting to be signed was just a 1% tweak they need to make to his process so the client can sell on the day. Because at the time, the client goes, this is fantastic, more value than any other builder has gone, even though they're all charging for a professional service fee. But none of them are saying that I'm going to get all this and are ramming through that process. So yeah, that 100% on board. Let's make it happen.
So exciting. Amazing stuff. Well, well done to yourself. Well done to Ben as well. I know that members love working with you and love putting these systems in place. Is there anything we haven't touched on that you want to talk about before we land the plane?
No, I think there's a lot still to cover in that sales process, but the key is preparation is key in everything, right? So go into those meetings as a leader and a professional in your industry. You have many years of experience and knowledge. You need to back yourself, mindset shift that you can do it. You are valuable and you are worth being able to charge for your pricing. If you lay it out and take that client on the right journey and educate and add value, they will see that worth, and your conversion rate, the most important thing, conversion rate will go up from typically 20-30% up to 70 plus 80% up into that area. Less time estimating, less time doing site visits, less time on the phone, doing sales, making more money.
Game changer. Thank you so much for your time today, Matt. You're a legend, and we'll see you again next time for another member spotlight. Here's to your success.
Sounds good. Thanks, Alan.